The National Electrical Code, or NEC, mandates specific requirements for terminating and connecting aluminum conductors. NEC Section 110.14 C is very clear. It requires that all terminations and connections for aluminum conductors be made with materials specifically designed and approved for that purpose. This includes using connectors that are specifically approved for use with both copper and aluminum conductors. It also means that standard wire connectors may not be appropriate for aluminum wiring connections. The approved connectors often contain an antioxidant compound to prevent corrosion. These compounds help to establish a secure, reliable connection between the aluminum and other conductive materials. It is important to select connectors listed and labeled for use with aluminum conductors. Using the correct connector is paramount for safety and code compliance. Failure to do so can lead to dangerous situations, including overheating and electrical fires. NEC Section 250.120 stipulates that all electrical connections, especially those involving aluminum wire, must be tight enough to prevent arcing or overheating. Aluminum wire is more susceptible to expansion and contraction due to temperature changes. This can cause connections to loosen over time. Therefore, it is important to periodically inspect and tighten these connections to maintain their integrity. In residential settings, this includes connections at the service panel, branch circuit breakers, receptacles, switches, and lighting fixtures. Ensuring that all connections are properly tightened minimizes the risk of loose connections that can lead to arcing, voltage drop, and other electrical issues. When aluminum wiring is present, a comprehensive approach is essential. It is not sufficient to address only a few connections. It is necessary to inspect and correct all aluminum wire terminations throughout the entire electrical system. This includes checking connections at the breakers, oven receptacle, water heater, air handler, condenser, and any other devices connected with aluminum wire. A piecemeal approach can leave potential hazards unaddressed, compromising the safety of the entire electrical installation. It is important to understand the potential safety hazards associated with aluminum wiring. Aluminum wire is known to be more prone to corrosion and overheating than copper wire. Improper connections can lead to arcing, sparks, and even fires. The oxidation of aluminum can create a high-resistance connection, which generates heat and increases the risk of electrical failure. Therefore, addressing all aluminum wiring connections in a house is vital for preventing these hazards and ensuring the safety of the occupants. The NEC emphasizes that all electrical work must be performed by qualified electricians. Electrical work involving aluminum wiring requires specialized knowledge and skills. Only qualified electricians should perform electrical work. They understand the specific requirements for working with aluminum wire and have the necessary tools and materials to do the job safely and effectively. Attempting to perform electrical work without proper training and experience can be dangerous and may violate local electrical codes. Working with aluminum wiring involves several steps to ensure a safe and reliable electrical connection. Firstly, always to energize the circuit before working on any electrical connection. This prevents the risk of electric shock. Secondly, inspect the existing wiring for signs of corrosion or damage. Clean the aluminum wire with a wire brush and apply an antioxidant compound specifically designed for aluminum connections. Thirdly, use connectors that are specifically listed and labeled for use with aluminum conductors. These connectors are designed to provide a secure and reliable connection between the aluminum wire and other conductive materials. Fourthly, tighten all connections to the manufacturer's specified torque. Over-tightening or under-tightening can both compromise the integrity of the connection. Fifthly, after making the connection, insulate it properly with electrical tape or other approved insulating materials. This protects the connection from moisture and other environmental factors. Sixthly, test the connection to ensure it is working properly. Use a multimeter to check for voltage drop and continuity. In addition to using the correct materials and techniques, regular maintenance is also important for aluminum wiring. Schedule periodic inspections of your electrical system to check for loose connections, corrosion, or other signs of damage. Pay particular attention to connections that are exposed to moisture or temperature changes. Tighten any loose connections and replace any damaged components. It is important to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any concerns about your aluminum wiring. In some cases, it may be necessary to replace the aluminum wiring with copper wiring to improve the safety and reliability of your electrical system. Copper wiring is more resistant to corrosion and overheating and is generally considered to be a safer option than aluminum wiring. The decision to replace aluminum wiring with copper wiring should be made in consultation with a qualified electrician who can assess the condition of your existing wiring and recommend the best course of action. There are several common mistakes that people make when working with aluminum wiring. One common mistake is using standard wire connectors that are not approved for use with aluminum conductors. This can lead to corrosion and overheating. Another common mistake is not properly cleaning the aluminum wire before making a connection. This can prevent a good electrical connection. Over-tightening or under-tightening connections can also compromise their integrity. Ignoring signs of corrosion or damage is another mistake. Regular maintenance can help prevent these problems and extend the life of your aluminum wiring. When inspecting aluminum wiring, it is important to look for several key indicators of potential problems. One indicator is discoloration of the wire, which can indicate corrosion. Another indicator is loose connections, which can cause arcing and overheating. Other indicators include damaged insulation, cracked connectors, and the smell of burning plastic. If you notice any of these signs, it is important to contact a qualified electrician immediately. It is also important to consider the age of your aluminum wiring. Aluminum wiring was commonly used in homes built in the 1960s and 1970s. If your home was built during this time, it is likely that you have aluminum wiring. Aluminum wiring has a limited lifespan, and it may need to be replaced if it is nearing the end of its service life. Replacing aluminum wiring can be a costly undertaking, but it is an important investment in the safety and reliability of your electrical system. The cost of replacing aluminum wiring will vary depending on the size of your home and the complexity of your electrical system. However, it is important to get several quotes from qualified electricians before making a decision. In addition to replacing aluminum wiring, there are other steps you can take to improve the safety of your electrical system. These steps include installing arc fault circuit interrupters, or RFCIs, which can detect and interrupt arcing faults, and ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, which can detect and interrupt ground faults. RFCIs and GFCIs can help prevent electrical fires and shock. It is also important to have your electrical system inspected by a qualified electrician on a regular basis. A qualified electrician can identify potential problems and recommend solutions. Regular electrical inspections can help prevent electrical fires and shock. There are several resources available to help you learn more about aluminum wiring and electrical safety. The Electrical Safety Foundation International, or ESFI, is a non-profit organization that provides information and resources on electrical safety. The National Electrical Manufacturers Association, or NEMA, is a trade association that represents electrical equipment manufacturers. NEMA publishes standards and guidelines for electrical equipment. The National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, is a non-profit organization that develops codes and standards for fire prevention. NFPA publishes the National Electrical Code, or NEC, which is the standard for electrical safety in the United States. The NEC is updated every 3 years. The Underwriters Laboratories, or UL, is an independent testing and certification organization. UL tests and certifies electrical products to ensure that they meet safety standards. When working with aluminum wiring, it is important to follow all safety precautions. Always to energize the circuit before working on any electrical connection. Use the correct tools and materials. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. Never work on electrical wiring if you are tired or under the influence of drugs or alcohol. The NEC provides specific guidelines for the types of antioxidant compounds that should be used with aluminum wiring. It is crucial to choose a compound that is specifically designed for this purpose and approved by a recognized testing laboratory such as UL. The antioxidant compound helps to prevent oxidation of the aluminum, which can lead to increased resistance and potential overheating. When applying the antioxidant compound, follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Apply the compound liberally to the cleaned aluminum wire before making the connection. This will help to ensure a good electrical connection and prevent corrosion. The NEC also provides guidelines for the types of connectors that should be used with aluminum wiring. Only use connectors that are specifically listed and labeled for use with aluminum conductors. These connectors are designed to provide a secure and reliable connection between the aluminum wire and other conductive materials. There are several different types of connectors available, including twist-on connectors, set-screw connectors, and crimp connectors. Choose the type of connector that is appropriate for the application. When tightening connectors, use a torque wrench to ensure that the connections are tightened to the manufacturer's specified torque. Over-tightening or under-tightening can both compromise the integrity of the connection. After making a connection, it is important to test it to ensure that it is working properly. Use a multimeter to check for voltage drop and continuity. A voltage drop indicates that there is resistance in the connection, which can lead to overheating. Continuity indicates that the connection is complete and that there is no break in the circuit. If you find any problems with the connection, correct them immediately. Loose connections, corrosion, and damaged insulation can all lead to electrical fires and shock. It is also important to be aware of the potential for galvanic corrosion when working with aluminum wiring. Galvanic corrosion occurs when two dissimilar metals are in contact with each other in the presence of an electrolyte, such as water. The aluminum wire will corrode more quickly than the other metal. To prevent galvanic corrosion, use connectors that are made of a material that is compatible with aluminum. You can also apply a dielectric grease to the connection to prevent moisture from coming into contact with the metals. In addition to following the NEC guidelines, it is also important to follow any local electrical codes. Local electrical codes may have additional requirements for aluminum wiring. Contact your local building department to find out what the local electrical codes are in your area. It is important to remember that working with electricity can be dangerous. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you. A qualified electrician will have the knowledge, skills, and experience to do the job safely and effectively. They will also be familiar with the NEC and local electrical codes. Hiring a qualified electrician is an investment in your safety and the safety of your home. In summary, ensure all aluminum wiring connections are safe and NEC compliant. Using approved materials and proper techniques protects homes. When in doubt, call a qualified electrician.